The county evidence platform preserved the photograph before Aaron Vick created an inventory form. At 8:34 that morning, the image did not exist yet. Arthur Bellamy was still sitting on stool 4 at Loretta's early table, one hand holding a short pencil above the Saturday crossword, the other resting around a half-calf coffee mug, while Loretta finished his oatmeal behind the counter. The food service permit beside the register was valid. The county compliance portal showed the last inspection as current. No critical violation was open. No emergency review had a verified inspector attached to it. Within the hour, one administrative referral would threaten Loretta's license, one field contact form would label Arthur the disturbance, and one automatically uploaded photograph would lock the order that police command and county records could not later repair. Arthur did not know any of that yet. Arthur had arrived in a faded canvas jacket, pressed khakis and brown work shoes, with garden soil dried along the soles. He had used the same stool for 9 years. 2 customers entered after him. A white couple took a booth by the window without waiting to be seated. A delivery driver crossed behind the counter to leave a carton of paper cups near the kitchen door. Loretta waved him through. No one asked either of them to explain why they were there. The brass bell sounded again. Evan Talmadge entered first. He wore jeans, polished boots, and an off-duty deputy's confidence without the uniform. Aaron Vick followed in full Ashcombe patrol gear. Evan chose the booth nearest the register. He watched Arthur while Aaron ordered eggs. "Main Street has changed," Evan said. Aaron unfolded a paper napkin. Evan continued. "Used to be, businesses knew what kind of atmosphere they wanted." Arthur filled 3 letters into the crossword. Loretta placed a bowl of oatmeal in front of him. Cinnamon marked one side of the surface in a dark crescent. Evan stood. He crossed the tile and stopped beside Arthur's stool. Then he placed his truck keys on top of the crossword. "You mind moving to one of the tables in back?" Arthur looked at the keys before looking at Evan. "I'm eating here. Families like the front counter." A father near the pie case cut a pancake for his daughter. He did not turn around. Loretta set down the coffee pot. "Seats are first come, first served." Evan looked toward the acrylic frame beside the register. The county permit card sat inside it, clean and current. "My father mentioned your inspection file," he said. "There may still be questions." Loretta's fingers tightened around the black handle of the pot. "There are no open findings." At the window booth, Evelyn Hart heard the exchange. She worked for County Environmental Health. Her work phone rested beside a plate of toast. It vibrated. A new emergency referral appeared on the screen. Business, Loretta's early table. Reason, possible sanitation and public order concern. Source, Ashcombe Police Administration. Created by H. Talmadge. Evelyn looked at the permit card. She had reviewed the same file 2 weeks earlier. Current. No critical finding. She turned the phone face down. Arthur slid Evan's keys off the crossword and placed them on the counter. "Leave her business out of this." Evan's mouth tightened. "You're becoming disruptive." Arthur did not raise his voice. "I have not moved from this stool." Evan reached behind him and seized the canvas jacket at the shoulder. The stool turned beneath Arthur. His oatmeal struck the floor first. The ceramic bowl broke near the counter base. Arthur caught the metal edge with one hand, but Evan pulled again. The shoulder seam tore. Aaron stood beside the front door. His hand remained near his radio. He did not tell Evan to stop. Arthur's shoes dragged across the tile. The brass bell struck twice as Evan forced him through the doorway. Arthur's right knee hit the sidewalk. His palm scraped against the concrete. Loretta came through the door behind them. "I did not ask him to leave," she said. "Evan is the one causing the problem." Aaron removed his department phone. He opened a field contact form. Incident type: business disturbance. Subject: Arthur Bellamy. The complainant field remained empty. Inside the diner, the permit card still showed full compliance. On Evelyn's phone, the same permit changed to pending emergency review. No inspector had entered the kitchen. No customer had reported a sanitation problem, but the referral already had the chief's name on it, and Arthur's name was now attached to the disturbance. Arthur pushed himself up from the sidewalk with his left hand. His right knee resisted for a moment. Loretta held out a folded kitchen towel. He pressed it against the scrape on his palm, then checked the torn shoulder of his canvas jacket. "I'm going home," he said. Evan Talmadge stepped into the parking lot behind him. "We're not finished." Arthur stopped beside his pickup. Aaron Vick followed with the department phone still open in his hand. The field contact form showed Arthur's name beneath the words, "Business disturbance." No complainant appeared. Arthur looked at Aaron. "Who is directing this detention?" Aaron shifted the phone against his palm. "I need identification first." "You have not stated that I'm detained." "Then cooperate and we can clear this up." Arthur removed his wallet slowly and handed over his license. Aaron walked to the cruiser and ran the number. The return came back clean. No warrants, no suspended license, no criminal history. The address was less than 2 miles from the diner. Aaron returned the card. Evan watched his face. "Well?" "He's clear." Evan looked through the rear window of Arthur's pickup. A dark metal case sat beneath the back seat. "What's in that?" "Personal property." Evan moved closer to the glass. "Looks like an unsecured weapons container." Arthur placed his keys on the hood. "I am standing outside the vehicle. The keys are no longer in my possession." Aaron glanced at the keys, then at Evan. Evan pointed toward the passenger door. "Do a safety check." Arthur kept his voice level. "I do not consent to a search." Aaron opened the passenger door anyway. He checked the front seat, the glove compartment, and the floorboard. He found a flashlight, vehicle papers, and a packet of tissues. No weapon. He moved to the back seat. Arthur remained several feet away with Loretta beside him. "What is the case number?" Arthur asked. Aaron did not answer. "What agency is ordering the search?" Aaron pulled the metal case from beneath the seat. The latch was brass. The lid was scratched from years of use. Evan took the case from him. It was locked. Aaron looked toward the cruiser. "We may need to document the contents." "The truck is not being towed," Arthur said. "I am not under arrest." Evan held out his hand. "Tool kit." Aaron hesitated. Only briefly. He retrieved a flathead screwdriver from the cruiser and gave it to Evan. Arthur's jaw tightened. "If you remove or damage property, issue a receipt before opening it." Evan pressed the screwdriver into the latch. The brass bent before it broke. Inside the case lay a service photograph, a field notebook, 2 award citations, and a velvet pouch. Evan opened the pouch. A bronze medal slid into his palm. He turned it over once. "What is this supposed to be?" Arthur did not answer. Evan placed the medal on the edge of the truck bed. It slipped, struck the asphalt, and rolled into the gravel beneath the rear tire. Aaron raised his department phone. He took a photograph of the open case. The image captured more than he intended. The screwdriver remained in Evan's hand. The broken latch lay on the ground. Arthur sat on the curb behind them, the kitchen towel wrapped around his palm. The photograph uploaded automatically to the county evidence platform. Its timestamp appeared before any inventory form existed. Inside the diner, Evelyn Hart turned her work phone face up. The emergency referral still showed Chief Howard Talmadge's administrative account. She stepped into the parking lot. "My name is Evelyn Hart, County Environmental Health." Evan looked at her. "This doesn't concern you." "It reached my office." She held up the phone. "The permit was current when the referral was created. No inspector observed a sanitation issue." Howard's name remained visible at the bottom of the screen. Evelyn had seen it before Arthur was pulled from the stool. She had said nothing then. Now she selected the conflict routing option. Source conflict. External review required. The referral history copied to the state compliance server. A confirmation number appeared. Evan reached for his own phone. "Dad can clear that." "No," Evelyn said. "Not after external routing." Loretta returned to the diner and opened the cloud security portal beneath the register. She selected the front counter camera, the doorway camera, and the parking lot microphone. She sent the files outside Ashcombe. The audio included Evan's inspection threat. It included Loretta saying she had never asked Arthur to leave. Aaron looked at the open case, then at the department phone in his hand. Howard Talmadge called before he could close the evidence screen. "Change the incident to a private business dispute," Howard said, "and note that the owner requested removal." Aaron looked through the diner window. Loretta was still uploading the video. Evelyn's external review confirmation remained on her phone. The evidence photograph had already synced. Aaron opened the narrative field. For the first time that morning, the version Howard wanted was no longer the only version that would survive. The county permit hearing began with a scanner pulling Loretta Gaines's license file into the record. The current permit appeared first. The most recent inspection followed. No critical violation. No pending correction. Then the hearing officer opened the emergency referral created from Chief Howard Talmadge's administrative account. Loretta sat beside her attorney with both hands folded over a yellow legal pad. Evelyn Hart occupied the chair behind her. Arthur Bellamy was not present. Dana Whitlock, counsel for the State Public Integrity Unit, stood near the document screen. Play the first audio file. Loretta's counter camera supplied the sound. Evan Talmadge's voice entered the hearing room. My father mentioned your inspection file. Less than 2 minutes later, the emergency referral had been created. No inspector had entered the kitchen. No customer had reported spoiled food, unsafe storage, or a sanitation concern. Howard's account had changed the permit status after his son threatened the owner. The emergency hold was removed before the hearing recessed. The written finding used 4 words. Retaliatory referral. No basis. Loretta's permit returned to current status that afternoon. The county was ordered to reimburse the legal fees required to challenge the hold. The police review took longer. Dana began with authority, not Arthur's military record. Evan had been off duty. Aaron Vick had been on duty. Loretta had not requested Arthur's removal. Arthur's license had returned clean. His keys had been placed on the hood. He had been standing several feet from the pickup when Aaron opened the passenger door. The metal case had been locked. The truck was not being towed. Arthur had not been lawfully arrested. No inventory form existed when Evan forced the screwdriver into the brass latch. Dana placed Aaron's evidence photograph beside the later report. The photograph showed Evan holding the tool. The broken latch rested on the asphalt. Arthur sat on the curb with the kitchen towel around his palm. The upload time came before Aaron classified the search as routine inventory. The report could not explain that order. Thomas Greer, the county Veterans Service officer, supplied the final property verification. Arthur was a retired Army Master Sergeant. The medal Evan had dropped into the gravel was a Bronze Star. The citation beneath it had been issued after a deployment Arthur rarely discussed. Dana entered the service record after the unlawful search had already been established. The medal did not make the search illegal. It measured what had been damaged. The audit widened. Howard's account had redirected 3 earlier complaints involving Evan. 2 had been reduced to informal contacts. 1 attachment had disappeared from the local file, but remained in a state archive copy. A second black business owner had also received an emergency licensing referral after arguing with Howard. The pattern was no longer confined to 1 breakfast counter. Marlow County terminated Evan for assault, misuse of law enforcement affiliation, and participation in an unlawful detention. The state certification board revoked his credentials. He later entered a guilty plea to assault, unlawful restraint, and destruction of property. The judge required a factual basis before accepting it. Evan stood beside his attorney and answered 3 questions. Had Loretta Gaines asked Arthur Bellamy to leave? No. Did Evan possess lawful authority over Arthur inside the diner? No. Did Aaron Vick search the pickup because of an independent crime he personally observed? No. The clerk entered each answer into the plea record. The restitution order covered Arthur's medical visit, the torn jacket, repair of the metal case, and Loretta's property damage. Aaron received separate findings: unlawful search, false reporting, failure to establish an independent legal basis. His employment ended. His certification entered revocation proceedings, and the county prosecutor issued a credibility disclosure notice carrying the sustained dishonesty finding. 9 pending cases included Aaron as a material witness. 7 had independent evidence. 2 depended almost entirely on his account. Those 2 cases were dismissed. Howard was removed from command before the criminal referral was complete. On the morning the external receiver took control of the complaint archive, Howard entered his administrative password at the records terminal. A notice appeared. Command access revoked. External custody active. He tried the complaint routing page. The same notice returned. The files involving Evan were copied to a state-controlled repository. Howard could read the preservation order through his attorney. He could no longer edit the cases beneath it. The state opened proceedings for retaliatory referral, record tampering, and concealment of a conflict of interest. Howard was barred from holding another public safety supervisory position while the case remained pending. Evelyn received a written finding of her own. She had seen the referral source and waited while Arthur was dragged outside. The finding remained in her personnel file. So did the protected disclosure notice showing that she had later routed the audit beyond Howard's reach. The county adopted new rules. Incidents involving command staff or their immediate relatives would transfer automatically to an outside agency. Off-duty officers could not direct on-duty enforcement. Vehicle safety searches required officers to record the subject's location, the location of the keys, and the person's actual access to the cabin. Locked containers could not be opened through an inventory claim unless a lawful arrest or tow had already been documented. Licensing referrals from police accounts now displayed the sender's name, agency, and relationship to the business. Local command could add a response. It could not erase the source. Arthur did not attend the press briefing. When the property hold ended, he carried the damaged case home. Denise placed a kitchen towel on the table. Arthur opened the lid and lifted the ribbon from the velvet lining. Several grains of gravel remained caught near the metal clasp. He rinsed them away under the faucet. The bent brass latch stayed inside its evidence envelope. Outside, water ran beside the tomato plants. Arthur set the metal case on the towel and went into the yard to turn off the garden hose. This is a fictional story.